Good morning. Good morning? Good morning! Huh. Well, that's weird. Where'd my roommate go? Did he sleep in? I'd better check his room. Marv! Nope, not in there. I think maybe my roommate disappeared. I think my roommate disappeared. Wait, does this mean I'll be home alone for Christmas? Then I should probably do a bunch of responsible things like brushing my teeth. Maybe I'll just start by getting the mail. Let's see. Nice card. Merry Christmas. I'll see you tonight. SC. See me tonight. I can't believe someone would threaten to break into my home on Christmas Eve night. Marv, some filthy animals threatening to break into our home. Oh yeah, Marv disappeared. This is my house. I have to defend it. Let's see, I could just call the police, or I could set up a bunch of elaborate traps all over the place that require an advanced degree in engineering to design and an insane amount of luck to have worked perfectly. Not to mention intruders who are incredibly incompetent and ridiculous. The choice is obvious. I'll just design these traps on this piece of paper and then make it happen. Okay, so if I do that, there. And for the final trap, I'll set up a great big bucket of water to fall on the bad guys' heads, causing them to become wet bandits. I am all set. But I have to admit that this is not the way that I thought Christmas was going to be. Kevin, I'm home. Marv! I thought you had disappeared. Again? Yeah, when I got up and there was no sign of you. I was out doing last-minute Christmas shopping. Remember? We talked about it last night. I even left you a note when I left this morning. Note? I didn't see any note, except for this scary one from some guy with the initials SC threatening to come tonight. SC. Yeah. On Christmas Eve. Yeah. You gotta help me set up my impossibly elaborate traps to stop him. Kevin? Yeah? SC. On Christmas Eve. On not a note, but a Christmas card. Whose initials do you think those could be? Some killer? No, that would be SK. Wait, how about Santa Claus? That's it! But why would Santa Claus be threatening to break into our house on Christmas Eve? Oh. Probably a good thing I didn't set those traps yet. Come on, help me unload the car. I bought lots of presents. Presents? Awesome! You know, nothing about this Christmas Eve went the way that I expected it to. But it's turning out pretty amazing anyway. Merry Christmas, Marv. I'll be home alone for Christmas. Hi there, hello. You're watching Base Camp. I'm Pastor Pat. You spend all year looking forward to Christmas, and then when it finally gets here, nothing is like you thought it would be. Your roommate disappears, Santa Claus is invading your home, and you have to set up elaborate traps. Anyone else Okay, so maybe those specific things don't happen to a lot of people, but things do tend to go differently than what we expect. The first Christmas was no exception. People had been looking forward to the coming Messiah for centuries. God had promised it from ages past. But as the time drew near for Jesus to be born, he didn't come quite the way he had been anticipated. Not for the Jewish people, not for the wise men, not for the shepherds, and not for Joseph. And certainly not for Mary. In Luke chapter 1, the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary to let her know that the time for the fulfillment of God's promise had come, and that she was going to be the one who was going to give birth to him. That was not what she was expecting. In verse 29, we're told, Mary was greatly troubled at his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. And then, when he explained a little more, we're told in verse 35 that she's confused by it all and asks, how will this be? But finally, in the end, she simply accepts that God knows what he's doing and answers in verse 38, I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled. God always keeps his promises. But that doesn't mean he'll do everything the way that we expect him to. Sometimes we might be troubled by what's going on. Sometimes we might be confused. But in the end, we need to surrender to him and trust that he knows what he's doing. God promised me a long time ago that he would guide my life and lead me where I needed to go. Little did I realize that that would mean moving over 1,200 miles away from my hometown and 3 states away from the family and friends that I grew up with, taking me out of what was comfortable and into a great adventure. There have been times when I've been troubled, times when I've been confused, but I've discovered that when I trust God and let him do things his way instead of the way that I think he should do it, it's always best. Jesus didn't fulfill God's promise the way that people thought that he would, but he did fulfill it perfectly. And in the end, Mary was blessed for her trust and obedience. In verse 45, we're told about Mary, blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her, even if those promises didn't come the way that she expected them. Thanks for tuning in today for Base Camp, a ministry of Summit Church in beautiful Bozeman, Montana. We have services every Sunday at 10 o'clock, as well as a Christmas Eve service on the 24th of December at 6 o'clock, and we'd love to see you at them. We're also online at summitchurchmt.com and on Facebook and YouTube at Summit Church MT. Our children's ministry Facebook page is Base Camp Kids Min. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. When things don't go the way that we expect them, it can be confusing and difficult. But let's let Mary be our reminder to trust that God always knows what he's doing, even if we don't. Merry Christmas. Bye. I think next year, I'm going to go somewhere warm for Christmas, like Miami. Not me. I think next year, I'll do Christmas in New York. You'd get lost in New York.